Tonight on the Saga Vault, we're celebrating the makers. Not props from the set, not pieces from the factory line. This episode is all about fan-made Star Wars, the ultimate expression of creativity inspired by the saga. Custom builds, artisan replicas, and one-of-one inventions that exist because someone loved this galaxy enough to bring it into the real world with their own hands. 4 collectors are here to share their favorite fan creations, stories of obsession, craft, and imagination. And by the end, only one will earn its place in the Saga Vault. 4 collectors, 4 artifacts, only one open slot. With that, let's open the vault. Welcome to the Saga Vault, where the world's most passionate Star Wars collectors bring their most cherished artifacts to our table. Today, we'll be evaluating 4 incredible fan-made items. But first, let's meet our collectors. Vic Wirtz, detailed, determined, humorless. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show, Vic.
Thanks a lot.
You should make a joke.
He's proving you right.
These are all just jokes, come on. Steve Sansweet, a former Wall Street Journal editor who turned a chicken ranch into a Star Wars museum because, apparently, normal hobbies were too easy.
And we weren't getting enough eggs from the chickens.
Makes sense. Gus Lopez, a high-level Amazon executive who in classic tech style quit his job to focus on Star Wars collecting. Your parents must be so proud. And finally, the lovely and delightful Anne Jenkins, who runs the Smithsonian with her husband Duncan. Anne's the Princess Leia to Duncan's Dianoga monster. Anne, why don't you get us started? Anne, what do we have here?
We have some tiny clay figures of Star Wars characters from Mexico City.
Wow.
Yes. In the early 2000s, the fans in Mexico put on these great Star Wars conventions.
Right.
And one of the artisans there had a booth, and she could make any character you could dream of. So we started with just the regular main characters, because those were familiar to her. As the day went on, we kept going back with pictures of some real rare, less known characters. So we had her do Relics, so she would do all the little details, build up the character.
They're raw clay, they're not hardened clay. Because of the bottle, they're protected.
Yes. That was the early 2000s, and they've held up very well over the course of time.
Luke is one of them, right?
Yeah, And then we have the Gamorrean Guard.
Oh yeah, I see that.
And we have the Wampa. And then Relics, and then Boba Fett.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm a member of a group of crafters. We call ourselves the Craftalorians.
That's cute.
When it comes to fan-made, I'm always drawn to things that I don't think I could accomplish myself.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Yes. And so these were something that I don't think I would have the skill to do well. And so I was very attracted to them.
Like, how long did it take her to do it?
Oh, yeah, just a matter of minutes, really. I mean,
wow.
Was she using like dental tools or toothpicks or things like that, or
I
just?
feel like she had like some little clay tools where she could flatten areas or scrape away to create textures in the like the fur of the Wampa.
And then she painted them.
No, those are different colors of clay.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Actually, even more impressive.
Mm-hmm. It is. It is. I love this. I would love to see one up close. You mind if?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, the Gamorrean Guard is unbelievable in the detail. Look at this.
Wow. Here. Oh, wow.
How does she do the face and the mouth and the nose?
That's amazing. Even the Boba Fett has got his rangefinder.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Really good.
At this scale, I really love these little pieces, and thanks for bringing them. Let's move on to the next piece, all right?
All right.
Great.
What the hell?
What is that?
Yeah, that is a very good question. What is that?
This one has quite a backstory.
Clearly.
This is the Emperor of Coin crown.
Emperor of Coin crown?
Made by Elaine Grief. And
It has a lot of coins in it.
it has a lot of coins in it.
your name.
It has my name on it because I was crowned emperor of coins.
Wow.
Yes. So my friends who collect the coins is Will Grief, who's the husband of Elaine Grief, and Mark Salati. Mark and I found out years ago that a mutual friend of ours had started doing a ranking of who had the best coin collection. But we found it funny, so every time we'd pick up a new coin, we'd go, did I move ahead of you in rank? So we just started to kind of joke with each other. And so Will picked up on this, and he surprised us by crowning Mark the king of coins and me as the emperor of coins. And Elaine had made this out of a Chuck E. Cheese crown and personalized it with our names. There are 4 different coins on the crown, but they were based on original Kenner designs of coins they didn't release, so that's what you see around the crown.
That's wild.
And you handed out the coins at one of the celebrations?
That's right. And I think it was that celebration where we were handing out the coins, and so they used those extra coins to do the crown.
That's great.
Yeah.
And this is something that you guys paid for yourselves, right?
We paid for ourselves,
The main cost is in getting up to production, not the number of coins necessarily.
Right.
Once you've done it, it's like you make. So I made like way more coins than I
course.
gave out. Yeah. So, and I still have some.
I mean, the cost can be a couple of $1,000s per item.
I believe it. Or more.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
more.
The reward we get is really just the prototype stuff we get to keep going
And
to.
making people happy.
Giving
And
back to the
making-
fans.
Give back to
right?
the fans.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's another
But
example of this,
there's no money in it for us.
the Star Wars community working to kind of bring everybody together. Before we move on to Steve, I think we need to have you wear that thing.
Oh.
yes. Definitely.
All right. Well, I'm wearing the appropriate shirt.
It's perfect.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Let's see if Steve can beat this.
Okay.
All right. This is cool.
It won't
So, Steve, it's some sort of lightsaber.
It's some sort of lightsaber, and it's the first fan item that was given to me.
Really?
It was shipped to my office in Los Angeles of the Wall Street Journal when I was bureau chief.
Wow.
And my admin assistant opened the box and shouted at me and said, Steve, have we offended anyone so much that they'd send a bomb to the office? Because the case was closed and it
Right.
looks like this projectile. And it was from a guy in Racine, Wisconsin named Jerry Triber, who was a graphic designer and also a member of the 501st. There was the letter and there was a booklet explaining what it was in fantasy
Really?
and talked about the Kyber crystal that was in it.
Oh.
And I became friends with Jerry because of this piece. Then, unfortunately, for a while, I misplaced it.
Oh.
And so he was kind enough to send me a replica of it as a piece of cardstock
Oh, that's
Oh
cool.
my goodness.
That's awesome.
Look at that.
that opens.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So I had this on the shelf while I
creative.
looked for this.
I mean, that alone is super neat, but
Right.
that's just a poor copy of that.
I was so upset when I couldn't find it for 2 years or so. Dug it out and said, aha!
There it
Finally.
is.
Wow.
Jerry unfortunately passed away at the age of 58 about 10, 12 years ago. And I wrote a story about Jerry for StarWars.com.
Oh, it's nice.
I just thought he put so much time and attention into this and sent it to somebody he didn't even know.
What year was this?
94 or 95, probably 95.
So one thing that's interesting is there's a leather component to the handle,
Yeah.
which that wasn't a thing. Like the first time in the movies, we see leather as episode 9 on the Skywalker saber when it's repaired after being cut in half.
He was very prescient.
He was prescient.
It's as good or better than the quality of custom sabers you see today. And if you that era, that was not the case.
Well, I love the piece for the thought behind it as
Yeah.
well as what it actually is and the beauty of the piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell
Stunning.
an artist made that. Super cool. Super cool piece. All right. Have we saved the best for last, Vic?
Let's find out.
Let's find out.
Oh.
So I think we're going to need to have a discussion about what fan-made actually means. But first, let me tell you a bit about these pieces. Starting in 1999 and into the early 2000s, There were chains of like sci-fi hobby stores in Japan that would bring over Star Wars actors to do signings for fans.
Right.
So they'd fly in and they'd spend a week going up and down Japan, stopping at different stores, and they'd spend the day, doing signings. And in order to have something to autograph, they made these limited run action figures, using the word loosely because there's no action to them. They're static figures.
Little statues.
Yeah. Kenny Baker was one of the first. He's in an edition size of 50. Most of the later run, after that, they realized they needed a few more because they were popular. Chewbacca, Peter Mayhew, is an edition of 100, and that was more typically what they did. And these were a chain of stores called Red Mercury. So one question is, are these actually fan-made, right? Because they were produced for sale. But then, I would argue you've got many things in your collection that were fan-made, but were also sold at conventions. Is it fan-made if there's 100 of them? Or do they have to be unique? I think, the coins you have, you made lots of them. So, are these fan-made?
I think the answer is yes.
I think the answer is yes as well.
There's no rule
I think
about
the answer is
number.
no.
Oh, why is that?
These are made for commercial use.
Oh.
Fan-made to me means basically one of a kind or a few of a kind, but they're actually physically made by an individual. And these are made to sell, to get autographed.
And I mean, your point, Steve, the little figures I brought, that lady was doing that type of art commercially. I mean, that was she was
Right.
making money.
Right. And I do think there's something to be said about the uniqueness of a piece. Even a 50 or 100, it's more of a mass production process. And I honestly think these pieces are amazing, especially the Peter Mayhew is just so...
The Mayhew one
is
fantastic.
Unusual and wildly cool. I wouldn't have ever thought in a million years that they would make that.
It's almost like he's too tall for the bubble.
Yeah. He's like he's
They have
trying
to
to
squeeze
fit
his
in there.
head.
That's right.
They didn't have a taller bubble.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
funny.
Let's move on to the opinion side. I think we're good to go. We started with Anne's micro sculptures in little glass bottles that were super cool. We saw Gus's Emperor of Coin helmet that was made by a friend, surrounded by coins that you helped produce. We saw a custom lightsaber in a case made by a fan, first fan piece that you'd ever gotten. And we saw some Peter Mayhew and Kenny Baker figures that were made for a chain of stores in Japan. Let's dig into this.
I think the crown is one of the goofiest fan-made pieces I've ever seen. I love it.
I love it for that reason too.
The color, the paint, I'm looking at it and saying, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
And then noticing the coins along the side.
That's right.
I thought,
That's right.
Wow. And I love the small figures because I've got some myself and I've loved those for many years.
Technical skill is one big dimension. I think there's other things like how creative it is, how clever it is, and there's context also that goes with it. Like Steve's piece has a lot of amazing context and a personal story. This is what makes it hard to vote on a thing like this. There's no total ranking of fan-made items. They're all individual and different. It's harder to judge in many ways than almost any other category.
I feel strongly that the production of the item needs to be done by hand.
Made in some small quantity, but handmade.
Right. Handmade by people who are fans. It's the time you put into it and the uniqueness of I'm the fan and I'm building it and I'm making it.
An item that has had that hands-on creation, in my mind, is more special, more valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And if I
Right.
know that you took 5 minutes to make this, whereas somebody else took,
Days.
10 hours or days, it just becomes a little more special.
Yeah, the figures you brought, the woman made in just a few minutes.
But I think there, the skill and the detail and the craftsmanship outweigh
That's
the
undeniable.
time element.
It goes to the creativity that is part of
Right.
the object
Right.
and how much you give that weight.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think the figures I brought are fan-made. I don't. So, well, the main reason is because it's made by a company and not by an individual.
I just don't think they fit, but I think it's a really interesting discussion of what is fan-made and how that category works.
Agreed.
Yeah? Yeah?
Glad to be of service.
That's a vote. All right, let's vote. All right, everybody's made their vote. Let's start with Anne.
All right. I chose the lightsaber. The charm of this piece is that it is not that copy of a film piece.
It's unique.
It's unique. I like all the things about it.
Gus?
All right, I voted for the same piece. I called it the laser sword,
laser
like
sword?
Annie calls it. There was an early fan-made item. The quality of it, the story behind it was also a factor. Like, I think when you think of like what should go in the vault, like early fan-made, one-of-a-kind items seem to really check a lot of the boxes of like what we'd want to put in the vault.
Yeah? Steve?
Well, once again, I voted for my own piece. It was such a gift out of the blue and led to a long friendship. It's just a very special piece to me.
How could you not vote for it? Vic?
I voted for the Mexican clay figures just because I think their artistry is undeniable. Just the quality level is so high.
So we have 3 for the lightsaber, 1 for the clay figures. Ultimately, I've decided to go with the saber because of the personal story and the true fan build that just out of pure love for Star Wars and what you were doing. We have a winner, and that would be Steve's homemade lightsaber. But yet we still need to get the rest of the vote in, the fan vote. It's very important that you guys vote. You got a week to vote, and then we'll figure out who ultimately is the winner of this episode. All right? Thanks everybody for joining us. This was a good one.